was in jail, I was given a phenomenal book. It's called Lies Women Believe and the Truth That Sets Them Free by Leigh, DeMoss, and it was given to me by Rockport Baptist Church. They do jail ministries. I like it first because it's not just lies that women believe, it's just lies in general that the general populace believe. I'm going to start off with the prologue. It's kind of like a journal that Eve kept. It says, "Dear Diary, my head is spinning. I hardly know where to start. This day started out so perfectly, like every other day we've ever had. As we always do, Adam and I got up early to take a walk with God. Those walks have always been the highlight of our day. This morning, no one said anything for a while. We just enjoyed being together. Then God started singing. It was a love song. When he got to the chorus, we started to sing with him. First, Adam's deep voice. Then I joined in. We sang and sang and sang, songs about love and stars and joy and God. Finally, we all sat down under a big shade tree near the middle of the garden. We thanked God for being so good. We told him all we wanted to do was make him happy and to find our happiness in him. It was such a sweet time. It always was when the three of us were together. I don't know how to explain what happened next. All of a sudden, we heard a voice that we had never heard before. I turned, and there, looking right at me, was the most beautiful creature I had ever seen. He talked directly to me. He made me feel important, and I found myself wanting to hear what he had to say. I'm not sure what happened to God at this point. It wasn't like he left us. I think I just forgot he was there. In fact, for a while, I forgot Adam was there. I felt as if I were alone with this dazzling, mysterious creature. The conversation that followed is indelibly etched in my mind. He asked me questions I never thought about before. Then he offered me things I had never had before, things I had never thought I needed. Independence from God and from Adam. Position. I had always looked up to God and Adam. This creature said they would look up to me. Knowledge of mysterious mysteries known only to God. Permission to eat the fruit from the tree in the middle of the garden. First, I just listened and looked. In my heart, I pondered, I questioned, and I debated. Adam had reminded me many times that God had said we must not eat the fruit from the tree. The creature kept looking into my eyes and talking in that soothing voice. I found myself believing him. It felt so right. Finally, I surrendered. I reached out cautiously at first, then more boldly. I took, and I ate. And then I handed it to Adam, and he ate. We ate together. First me, and then him. Those next moments are a blur. Sensations deep down inside that I've never had before. New awareness. Like I know a secret I'm not supposed to know. Elation and depression all at the same time. Liberation. Prison. Rising. Falling. Confident. Afraid. Ashamed. Dirty. Hiding. I can't let him see me like this. Alone. So very alone. Lost and deceived. Our culture is riddled with deception. It's everywhere, as illustrated by these kinds of outlandish advertising claims. It's in everywhere: magazines, television, books, advertisements, walking down the street, billboards. It's everywhere. The news. We're paid. It's our paid programming. We're getting what they want us to see. We're never getting to see what's actually going on in society. What's going on to people that are all around us. Satan promises the best, but pays with the worst. He promises honor and pays with disgrace. He promises pleasure and pays with pain. He promises profit and he pays with loss. He promises life and he pays with death. Deception in advertising appeals to our natural human longings. We want to believe that somehow, mysteriously, those unwanted pounds really could melt away. In just 10 minutes, no sweat, no discipline, no cost, no effort, and no pain. That's why we buy the pills to diet, drink powders, and exercise equipment sold on infomercials. A clever and cunning pitchman whose intention was to change Adam and Eve's thinking about God and his ways designed the first advertising campaign. Satan's objective was to drive a wedge between God and his creatures. He rightly assumed that a man and a woman were not likely to support anything that appeared to be an all-out assault on God. He knew that, instead, he would have to subtly trick them, to deceive them, to seduce them by making an offer that appeared to be reasonable, desirable, and not entirely anti-God. Satan deceived Eve through a clever combination of outright lies, half-truths, and falsehoods disguised as truth. He began by planting seeds of doubt in her mind about what God had actually said. Did God really say? Next, he led her to be careless with the Word of God, and to suggest that God had said something, in fact, that he did not say. However, Eve quoted God as saying, "You must not touch it." Satan deceived Eve by causing her to question the goodness, love, and motives of God. The truth is that God had said, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, except one." The truth is that God is a generous God. In that entire vast garden, God had posted only one keep-off sign: do not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Furthermore, the one restriction God imposed was in the best interest of the people and was intended to guarantee their long-term blessing and happiness. God knew that when they ate of that tree, they would die. Their relationship with him would be severed. They would become slaves to Satan, sin, and self. The serpent further deceived Eve by lying to her about the consequences of choosing to disobey God. God had said, "When you eat of it, you will surely die." Satan countered, "You will not surely die." He flatly contradicted what God had already said. The devil seduced Eve by offering her all kinds of benefits if she would just eat the forbidden fruit. He promised that a whole world of knowledge and experience would open up to her. "Your eyes will be open." He assured her that she would be equal with God, that is, that she could be her own God. Finally, he promised that she would be able to decide for herself what was right and wrong, knowing good and evil. God had already told Adam and Eve what was right and what was wrong. But Satan said, in essence, that his opinion, you're entitled to your own opinion. You can make your own decisions about what is right and wrong. Satan deceived Eve by causing her to make her decisions based on what she could see and on what her emotions and her reason told her to be right, even when it is contrary to what God had already told the couple. Genesis 3:6. When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. Eve took the bite, but instead of the promised rewards, she found herself with a mouthful of worms, shame, guilt, fear, and alienation. She had been lied to. She had been deceived. From that moment to this, Satan has used deception to win our affections, influence our choices, and destroy our lives. In one way or another, every problem we have in the world is the fruit of deception, the result of believing something that simply isn't true.